Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are setting up yet another February theme, but this time in my everyday bullet journal. And I'm really excited to share this with you all because if you remembered when I got my package from the washi tape shop recently, one of the washi tapes in there was about the year of a horse. So I knew exactly what I was going to do in February, and that is make a Lunar New Year spread with that washi tape. And I am so excited with how this came together. I am using a Tiefossi notebook for 2026 for my everyday journal, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. So pairing it with this washi tape has been absolutely game changer because I have not had any issues with the quality of this paper, and I have become a little bit fussy with after all the issues that I've had recently with my journals not meeting the quality check that they should for the cost that I've paid. And so I highly recommend if you're looking to start a journal, because it's still time, you can start a journal at any stage in life, and it doesn't have to be on January. For example, I'm actually not doing a full February spread here. I will explain that in a little bit, but like I said, you can start a journal anytime. So if you're looking to start a new journal, I highly recommend checking out Tiefossi for their journals and the washi tape shop because you will get amazing decoration that is high quality all around. Okay, so let's get into the spread a little bit more. I am using the washi tape that is called Year of the Horse. I really like the decoration on this, and I knew that I wanted to go really heavily into the reds and the golds for this theme to match it. So there is so much to look at on this washi tape roll. I cut off the first full rotation of all the decorations in this tape roll. It is very large and I was so blown away by so many details. There are bigger pictures that you can fill in a whole spot, like the traditional building down the bottom, and then there's just all these little tiny little ephemera pieces of little sparkles. It was such a good time. I have never really sat down and used just washi tape to decorate a journal with. Obviously I've put some origami paper down to match in with the colors here and keep everything as light as possible, because you know that decorative paper, especially if it's cardstock or got a thicker weight to it, can bulk up your journal. So if I can use origami paper anywhere I can, I will, and I was thankful that it could match this theme extremely well. So it was really interesting because I was trying to put down all these little stickers. There are so many things, like I mentioned, on these rolls to look at and fill in white space with, which I was really impressed about. For the month of February, or as you'll see in a moment, for the cycle that I'm working in, because I am doing cyclic planning, I am only planning 4 weeks at a time. So this is something that I learned from another creator on YouTube called 𝓬𝓱𝓮𝓷𝓽𝓮. Jess is fabulous at explaining this a little bit more, but for me, the reason why I turned to cyclic planning in 2026 was I just found that I was getting a little bit overwhelmed with how life was going for me. Recently been diagnosed with a second chronic illness last year, so having to look after my health and try and map everything out in my head was kind of a little bit harder. So having everything line up where it starts on a Monday start, it ends on a Sunday, I'm only looking at a 4-week snapshot at each time, made a lot of sense for me to swap to and give a go. And so far, I'm really enjoying this. This is my second cycle, as that's what it's called now, cycles instead of months. And I have really enjoyed swapping to this type of planning. It has helped a lot with my productivity and also with my memory, because one of the downsides to my chronic illness is memory loss or brain fog. So having this kind of way of planning has worked for me. Not saying that monthly planning wasn't working or I couldn't make it work. I just think this is working for the stage that I'm in right now. And so if you're more interested in learning about cyclic planning, I have linked Jess's video all about it in the description below. So if you want to give it a go, maybe in the next cycle or at any stage, because it kind of can just be made to work for your system, you can go give that a check out. On the left-hand side, I did a typical monthly cover though. I still want to have that to have memory sakes. And then on this right-hand side, you've seen me make a calendar. I actually have 2 calendar spreads for the month of February, or cycle 2. And that is because I'm using one as a memory keeping space, which is this one here. I know that I'm not going to be able to remember to put everything down, but I want to just track the things that happen every day that mean something. Maybe I've gone somewhere, maybe a friend said something that was really nice, or, just anything that I feel like I want to remember, I'm going to put on this calendar here. And I think it will go really well with the cover page because let's be honest, most of the time we don't tend to come back to our cover pages all that often. So I think when I look back on this journal, it'll be just nice to quickly come into each cover page, have a look how I set it up, and look at the memories that I made in that particular cycle. So aside from putting on the weekly headers, the day headers and the weekly numbers into this section, I am done with this page here. My cycle 2 started on the 26th of January and ends on the 22nd of February. I know that's a little odd for some people, but I actually have really enjoyed being in this journal for cycle 2 already and using these pages. It has been so much fun, and setting up the way I have has worked really well. And I really love these decorations. It makes me smile every single time I'm in my journal. So now that this page is done, let's flip on to the next page, which is all about more about tracking what's happening in the month. So for the left-hand side, I'm going to have another calendar layout, which we're going to do now. And I've called that dashboard. Essentially, this space here is going to be where I track appointments, when I've got to pay something, when something is coming up, such as we have animals. So when I have to give them their treatments or something along those lines, it all goes into this little calendar here. I may extend the size of this to be slightly larger next cycle, just because some things have been really piling up into each day and I'm maybe going to run out of room. That is the one thing I've noticed about using this calendar system. This is my first time doing it, so I didn't know how big to make it. So now I know, and I really, really like the idea of having these two separate calendars so I can have a very functional space like this dashboard. And then down the bottom of this page, I'm going to stick a health section. Now, it is by no means the only goal I'm focusing on, but one of the things that I was really wanting to do in 2026 is slow down. I am an overachiever. I try to hustle too much, even though I'm really struggling with energy levels these days. And naturally that then makes me frustrated. So the goal to slow down and have intentional wins is really important to me. So instead of making a whole big segment about all the health goals that I have, because I do have more than just this one, I want to focus on just one for each month that's quite intentional. And getting more water in is going to be the goal for this cycle. Obviously, I also want to get some more movement in and improve my nutrition. But the one that I put on this page is the most important to me. Unfortunately, when my mum got really unwell in 2024 and I was, on the clock all the time looking after her, I did slip into bad habits and go back to drinking Diet Coke a lot. And whilst I am pretty good at drinking water, I always have water around, I'm always drinking it. I would like to improve and just have a bit more. And it is the summer months, so I think my hydration levels are suffering a little bit right now. So having a focus on water is a really good thing. I don't want to be really harsh to myself about it though, and so I have made it that I can mark down whether or not I achieved just drinking water only in that day or partially, and that's fine. I just want the information so then I can make better decisions going forward and not try and put myself into a box that I know that I'm going to fail in. So just having this little segment down the bottom here made a lot of sense to me. And I do also have space next to it to add in some more washi tape because I knew that this page here was going to be quite a functional page rather than decorative heavy. And so I used a lot of the little stickers up by the dashboard section, and I knew I wanted to use the little children playing that you can see at the top of the screen there with the lanterns, and it's just a really joyous looking picture or illustration, and I knew I wanted to put that on this page here. So when I am in the throes of putting down a lot of functional information, or it's not great to be focusing on paying bills or something like that, when I turn to this page, I'm still going to smile because that little illustration is so cute. So I made it an intentional space to have not too much down in this health section. One, because I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and two, because I really wanted to use some more of the washi tape with the really big illustrations on them. So here we go, putting that down. And then I'm going to talk about what's happening on this right hand side now. We will come back and add a little bit more decoration to this left hand side, but I'm going to have a content planner. Now, this 2-page spread does look a little bit familiar if you do follow Jashi Corin or Jess, because I have been quite heavily inspired by her setups for this year so far, simply because this is my first time doing cyclic planning. I find that the inspiration that she's giving is really helpful right now, but I'm also going off and doing my own little things here and there as well. It's just all about finding what's going to work for me. Last year, I didn't have enough energy to focus on having my everyday journal work for me. I was just setting it up because I could set it up, and it wasn't functioning right. So for one of the things that I wanted to focus on in 2026 was that I needed to have dedicated spaces for things that I knew I needed to repeat information for, so it was going to stay in my brain. And having a content planner that's digital as well as in this journal made a lot of sense to me, so I'm going to give this a go. I know Jess scrapped it. It wasn't useful for her, but for me, let's see if it works. So this is going to have 2 segments. The top box is for videos. So my goal is to release 2 videos every week over the month of February, or the cycle. And then I have a bigger box down the bottom for Instagram, and that is going to have, each week is going to have 6 spots. I have been doing a lot on Instagram, and the sweet spot actually is about 10 to 12 posts per week, but naturally when my energy levels are so low, I'm not able to keep up with that if I've not scheduled in advance, and I don't have any backup at the moment. So the goal is to have these 6 main posts that I want to post every week, and then have Thursdays off. I chose Thursdays because I have nothing really on those days, and it makes good sense for me to actually have a day's rest, as opposed to trying to put it on one of the days where I'm busier, such as Friday. We have errands day on Fridays, so we're out for a while getting all the groceries and stuff like that, and so I didn't want to have that day off from posting on Instagram, because it wasn't going to really feel like having a day off, if that makes sense. And in the weekends, I end up having a little bit more energy for some reason. I'm not sure why. So that is how I chose Thursday as my day off from posting to social media. And also, I don't have anything on my calendar usually for a video, so it works out well. So as this page is coming together, you can see that I've marked out the days a little bit on the bottom half. I've just put 1 to 6 and which week, and then on the top half I've actually put down the dates, and then the calendar view on the horizontal bar means the day that it has to be up on. And so you'll see, I'll show you a little bit how I do it on the video one, and I have also done it on the Instagram one off camera, but I'll use a dot marker to mark visually when those are going to go up, and then there's a key down the bottom that will eventually appear that will show whether or not it actually ended up on that day, or if I had to reschedule, things like that, because life isn't static. It will change, and if I have not done my work ahead of time, I cannot post it on that day. So just having another intentional space to look at and see what I can improve on. And I really like how this came together with the little fish down the bottom. And because I wanted to balance it out, I also went and added some more washi tape on this side from just a normal plain coloured washi tape set that I have that is very old, and I think it's quite discontinued now. I haven't seen it in the stores for a long time. So that is this page now done, and we're going to flip over into the first week. So I have actually gone ahead and set up all 4 weeks for this theme. One of the things that I struggled with a lot is having the energy to set up my weeklies over January. So I have gone ahead and set this up in a way that hopefully will have me hitting the ground running over the cycle, and really put in a lot of effort in the beginning here. I was just really having a lot of fun with the stickers, to be honest, and I just didn't want to stop doing it. So I set up every single week in the same format, just changing the colors around. The great thing was a lot of these headers are all done with stickers, so I didn't have to worry about my handwriting changing if I didn't want to do it all at once. But the one thing I was struggling with over January or cycle 1 was that I didn't have the energy some weeks, and my weekly dashboard and everything would be set up like on a Wednesday, and that was not suitable for me. It didn't give me the productive space that I needed. So here is what my dashboard looks like. It's pretty much the same as cycle 1, I'll be honest. It's worked out really well for me. So on this left-hand side, there's 3 portions to it. The first one is just a box that you can see that is already colored in so far. I have been doing these outer layers though, so it will end up with a bigger border. And that is a goal section. And I am working on just having a space for 5 goals each week. And they aren't all necessarily big goals. They could be something like posting something at the mailbox that I know that needs to be done in a timely manner for like, that's this specific week. Or, there might be something that I have to do for my sister in this particular week. Things like that. That need to be done are what I class as a goal. And then I'm currently working on a digital declutter. So that is another goal for the week. And you'll see that there's a second box segment for this goal tracking type of thing that's happening each week. And I'll talk about that when we get to it. But for now, I just have a space to write down 5 different goals. They don't have to be the most amazing goals, just something to focus the week on. And then I have a calendar view for the week, and I'm just jotting down again, repeating as much as possible so I remember appointments and things that are due. I'm really bad for forgetting when I need to pay for. We have a carer that comes in 3 times a week for my sister, and it's paid fortnightly, and I have to do her timesheets, and if I don't remember to write it down, I can put them in late, and that's not very fair. She just still gets paid, obviously, but it makes it a little bit harder for everyone involved. So having a space to repeat that information to myself yet again, as well as on my Google Calendar, as well as, I put it in every space so I don't make that mistake. It was something that made me feel really uncomfortable to forget. So just having space to once again repeat things so I know what's happening, and also when I'm filling in these particular spots, I know what I can sort of expect from myself, and I can also make that connection with the bottom box, which is all about meals and what we eat, or personally what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch and dinner. I am not doing very well with my nutrition recently, just down to energy levels. And if I don't meal prep, I don't have breakfast. That is something that I have noticed since using this. So now I've got that information, I can get in a better habit of meal prepping for my breakfasts and stuff like that. So having information like this is really handy to me. And if I can see on the calendar there that I've had quite a few different appointments, and then I've had to grab takeout, or just had like a toasty or something for dinner, I now know why, because I can put that information together and make a better plan for going forward into the future. So I just find having these 3 things together really helpful. I'm just now decorating the rest of the space with some more of these stickers. I was so happy with how many little pieces there were on these stickers from the washi tape shop, or these washi tape rolls, because there's just so much to fill in the gaps with. And I've used so much of the roll already, but there's just so much still left behind. And I just was able to really fill up the space as much as possible, and had a really good time with using this washi tape to decorate my pages, and still have space to write down some notes if I needed to, if I ever got the need to have like a little bit of a mind unwind. There's plenty of space for it. So this left-hand side is now basically done. I'm just using some of the stickers to fill in all the little gaps and having fun with that. I just had an audio book on while I was setting this up and just having really good time with all the stickers and trying to fit as many as I could in. As you can see, there's the roll there. There's so much on it, and I just went through and started grabbing some more off the new segment there. Right, so the right hand side of the page is now something that we're going to be working on, and it is broken up into 3 segments. The first one is the largest segment, and that is my priorities list. Not to be confused with the goals section, because obviously some of these are working towards goals, but it's just broken down smaller and things that I really need to focus on during this week to either achieve goals or achieve appointments or whatever I'm doing that needs to be done. Also, I like to repeat the information, such as like mowing the lawns, because at this time of the year you have to mow the lawns a lot more than in wintertime, that kind of thing. I also have a garden, a vegetable garden that I'm working on, so there'll be things like fertilizing the garden and all that kind of stuff. So I just make a really big long list. I don't finish the list. I never finish it intentionally, because I put too much on there, and that's fine, because I want to have that variety to just pick and choose what I can get through, what my energy levels can achieve. And obviously I will work on the ones that I feel are the bigger priority at the time and on the day. And then these other 2 segments here, the top one is for my habits. I am tracking, I think, 10 or 11 habits each week. And then on the bottom segment, we have what I've called in progress. And this is goal related. So it is a space that I can break down some of these goals. I did have social plans in cycle 1 there, and I actually did not use it. So that is why I'm trying the content planner to see if that will help. And so I had to use something else for this segment, and in progress is just a spot to really break down what I'm working on. This week in particular, for an example, I am doing a laundry catch up because I've been sick and also injured, so I've gotten quite behind on the laundry. And so I broke it down into what I needed to do. So we have several different like containers, so towels, blankets, clothing, did I need to dry, fold, that kind of thing. I broke it down into the smaller steps and then ticked off as I've gone. And it's been really, really helpful to have that space. So I'm glad that I have that now, and I'm hopeful that it is going to continue to work really well for me. We're now on to the last page of the setup, and that is my daily segments or weekly spread. I don't know really what to call this, because I just have it as a space to have every day down, but I used to use this as a weekly spread, but now that I have the weekly dashboard, I'm not sure, but you can see that it has 6 main boxes up the top and then 2 horizontal ones. The horizontal ones are my weekend days, and then I use the first 5 vertical ones for the weekdays, because sometimes I just need a little bit more room. And then the last box on the top right segment is usually used for what this week kind of thing. I noticed this is another thing that I have grabbed from Jess. She's just really inspiring to me in keeping productive and also remembering things, and so I am using it to track things that I've enjoyed over the week, and it's working really, really well. So in the 2 corners there, I have a lot of space to put some decoration. I have grabbed out the roll again because I have run out of decoration mostly on the last remaining sheet there, so I'm just going to fill in the space as much as possible. I also like to add little elements throughout the weeks, because sometimes I don't fill up these entire boxes, and then sometimes I am cramming in as much information as possible into that space. So it has just been really good to have this layout. It is the same layout I have used so far all this year, and I don't have any intentions of changing it at the moment because it's working really well. I tend to find that I do bigger projects in the weekend, so I don't need nearly as much space. So that's why I always put something decorative in the middle there, or filling up as much space as possible. And then, yeah, this is how each week looks. Each week I alternate the colors. So these boxes for week 2 are red instead of gold, and the headers are gold instead of red, that kind of thing. And I've had a great time setting this up. So we're about to go into the final flip through now. I hope that you've enjoyed sticking with me. Please do give the washi tape shop a check out if you are looking for some decorative options such as Year of the Horse theme. And until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye everyone.